Hi, Ria. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
One of the things that you talked about was being a Filipinx Gen Zer. And so, how do you think those demographics have impacted your decisions or your journey in fitness?
Yeah, so those two groups definitely I resonate a lot with, and it's a big part of my identity, especially being Filipina, growing up in a predominantly white community and kind of feeling like a sore thumb and like I didn't really fit in. And it's very different, the culture, wanting to be more like everyone else, quote unquote, wanting to be more American. And growing up with that, I still had the same values that were pushed on me as an Asian American.
Obviously, one of the number one most popular jobs among your generation and even the up and comer youngins, I would call it. I'm a late millennial, so I guess I can show my age a little bit. But is a YouTuber, right? And so there's a lot. It's a huge market, and at the same time, it's highly competitive. So how do you kind of talk to your parents about financials that you can eat, that you're able to sustain yourself?
Yeah, it is a little bit scary because when you're working from home, you're not getting consistent paychecks and there's not this solid, I'm getting X amount of money every month. It could be up one month, down another, which is kind of a little scary. But at the same time, I think being myself and being the truest me out there with the content I put out, I think that really resonates with a lot of people. And as long as I'm being authentic, I get the right people following my content and being inspired by my content. And so at first, I was very scared about that fact, just, obviously not being sure if I'm going to get a solid amount of money that month or whatever the case may be. But I think being true to yourself and not wanting to give up your morals, your values for what you're doing, for your content is a big thing that I'm doing just so I resonate with the right people and the right people would want to support me. Yeah. So once you're starting from a sedentary, like day one, it can be very easy to fall in the hack of I'm going to cut everything out and I'm going to do this extreme program. And while it may seem like a good way to get fast results, I would not recommend it just because it's not very sustainable. I would say for someone who's a beginner or just wants to get back in the flow of things, you would definitely want to do a slow progression and work your way up. So that way you can still enjoy your life and not look at your program or your exercise as a punishment in a weird way. And so instead of cutting everything out and, looking at diet as a bad thing, you could cut one thing out at a time.
You reached out to me and we're not afraid to ask, right? And I think that's really important. In the first step in a lot of people's journey is asking, because people can either say no, ignore you, but hey, people could also say yes and open up all these opportunities or meet new people that never would have crossed paths.
Mm-hmm. It's super important to have the mindset of not what if, but what if I didn't? And just get rid of that fear of failure and get rid of that fear of rejection and rather be inspired by what could happen and so many opportunities of the positives that you're scared of and what's on the other side of fear.
Maria, those are wise words. I'm super impressed by you and will continue to be following your journey and cheering for you. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening to the Color Success Podcast. Listen, like, subscribe on all major streaming platforms, YouTube, IG, and if you want exclusive content, you can join our Patreon. All links can be found at colorofsuccesspodcast.com.